It was supposed to be just another morning. Ethan sipped his coffee, scrolling through emails on his phone as he walked into his usual cafe. The place was busy, early risers clutching laptops, students cramming for exams, a businessman barking orders into his headset. He was barely paying attention as he stepped toward the counter to place his order. That's when he saw it. A sleek black phone, sitting abandoned on the wooden table near the window. No case, no distinguishing marks, just a screen lighting up with a single incoming call. Ethan glanced around. The cafe was crowded, but nobody seemed to notice the phone. The call kept buzzing. Mom. His stomach twisted. Whoever this phone belonged to, their mother was trying to reach them, and something about it felt urgent. He looked around again. Should he answer it? Hand it to the barista? It wasn't his problem. Was it? The call went to voicemail. A second later, a new notification popped up. One new voicemail from Mom. Ethan hesitated, fingers hovering over the device. His conscience warred with his logic. The right thing to do was turn it in. But what if this was an emergency? Before he could overthink it, his fingers moved on their own. He tapped the screen and listened. Elliot, please call me back. It's about your father. I don't have much time. Ethan's heart stopped cold. The voice was trembling, desperate. A mother pleading with her son. And the way she had said, "I don't have much time," made the hairs on his arms stand up. His mind raced. Who was Elliot? What was happening to his father? Just then, the barista called his name. Ethan, medium cappuccino. He blinked, snapping back to reality. Right, coffee. But his stomach churned as he reached for the cup. The phone sat heavy in his other hand, like a weight he didn't ask for. He could just walk away, place the phone at the counter, or let the barista handle it, move on with his day. He had work, deadlines, and a life of his own. But that voicemail, "I don't have much time." Ethan exhaled, glancing back at the phone screen. The missed call, the voicemail, and now a new text message blinking at the top. Mom, Elliot, please pick up. It's urgent. His pulse kicked up a notch. He had to do something. He grabbed his coffee, phone in hand, and stepped outside. The city was alive. The honking of cabs, the chatter of morning commuters, the distant wail of an ambulance. But all of it felt distant now. Ethan pressed the call button before he could change his mind. It rang once, twice. Then, a soft click. Elliot. The woman's voice was filled with hope and fear. Ethan swallowed hard. Hi. I'm sorry. A sharp inhale on the other end. Where is my son? Ethan exhaled slowly. This was about to get, complicated. Ethan's grip tightened around the phone. Ma'am, I'm not Elliot, he said carefully. I found his phone in a cafe. I saw your calls and I thought it might be important. Silence. Then, a shaky breath. Oh, God, the woman murmured. I've been trying to reach him all morning. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. I can try to get the phone back to him. Do you know where he is? Another pause. Then, he should be at work. He never misses a shift. Where does he work? A bookstore downtown, Page & Co. Ethan knew the place. It was only a few blocks away. He checked his watch. He had work to get to, but what if something was really wrong? I'll take his phone there, he said before he could second-guess himself. A sigh of relief from the other end. Thank you, she whispered. Please, tell him to call me. Click. Ethan exhaled, staring at the phone in his. And what had he just gotten himself into? 15 minutes later, Ethan pushed open the door to Page & Co. The scent of old books and fresh coffee filled the air. A bell above the entrance jingled softly. A bored-looking teenage cashier glanced up from behind the counter. Can I help you? I'm looking for Elliot. The girl's expression shifted. She sat up straighter. Elliot, he hasn't come in today. Ethan frowned. Do you know where he lives? She hesitated. I shouldn't give out that info. Please, Ethan urged. It's important. His mom's been trying to reach him. The girl bit her lip, then sighed. He lives in the apartment above the shop. He rents the studio upstairs. Ethan's pulse quickened. Thanks. He turned and climbed the narrow staircase in the back of the store. When he reached the door labeled 3B, he knocked. No answer. He knocked again, harder this time. Still nothing. A chill ran down his spine. Something wasn't right. He tried the doorknob, unlocked. Hesitating only a second, Ethan pushed the door open. The studio apartment was small and cluttered but empty. Elliot's phone charger was still plugged into the wall. A half-eaten sandwich sat on the counter, as if someone had left in a hurry. But the most chilling detail, a single pill bottle lying on the nightstand. The cap was off. Ethan's stomach turned. He rushed over, grabbing the bottle. Half empty. The label read Elliot Carter. Ethan's mind raced. Had Elliot taken these? Was he somewhere unconscious? Or worse? Just then, a muffled sound. Ethan spun around. The closet. The noise had come from inside. Heart pounding, he stepped toward it and slowly pulled the door open. Inside, curled up on the floor, was Elliot. His face was pale, his eyes glassy. He blinked up at Ethan, in confusion. Who are you? His voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. Ethan exhaled in relief. I found your phone, he said, and your mom's been trying to reach you. At the mention of his mother, something flickered in Elliot's expression. Guilt. I didn't want to talk to her. Elliot mumbled. Ethan crouched beside him. She said it's about your dad. She doesn't have much time. Elliot squeezed his eyes shut, silent, wrestling with something heavy. Ethan glanced at the pill bottle. Did you take these? Elliot shook his head weakly. No, I thought about it, but I didn't. Relief flooded through Ethan. Come on, he said. You need to call her. Elliot hesitated. Ethan took a breath. I don't know what happened between you and your family, but whatever it is, it's not too late. For a long moment, Elliot didn't move. Then, finally, he reached for his phone. Ethan stood by the window, watching as Elliot pressed the phone to his ear. Mom? A pause, then a shaky breath. I know, Elliot whispered. I'm sorry. His voice cracked on. The last word. Ethan turned away, giving him space. This wasn't his story to finish. Minutes later, Elliot stood up, eyes red but clearer. He looked at Ethan. Thank you, he murmured, for not ignoring the call. Ethan just nodded. Sometimes, you just have to answer. What would you have done? Would you have ignored the ringing phone, assuming it wasn't your problem? Or would you have answered, not knowing what you might find? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you believe in the power of small choices making a big difference, hit that subscribe button, because sometimes the simplest actions can change a life.